Hello, this is my first video for the PPG X FOE family over everything. I have been a member of the team now for a little bit, but this is my first video on the channel where I'll be doing a deck profile documenting basically the deck profile for my most recent run, the October 21st regional hosted by PlayTCG. Ran very smoothly. Judge staff was kind. I got deck checked. It happened in an instant. No problem. Very quick. I mean, we started at like 10 a.m. and we got done probably 30, 40 minutes ago. So we're like 7 hours for 7 rounds. Very clean, simple, easy. Some prerequisites for the tournament. I've been on this deck for a while. I've played it a lot locally. I think it's a really strong deck. I've was playing it on stream a little bit, and I kind of realized like some other stuff about how to make it really, really strong. And so I just made sure to cut back my talk on it just enough so that way I could come in and get a little sauce. And so we did. U7 Gohan today got second or third or fourth. It'll be top something once the actual final posting is made, right? But certainly very highly placing. And this guy, I think, is just a very underrated leader. I think we all have the same expectations that when Zenkai came out, all of the leaders that drew a card and placed a card into your Z energy on combo were going to be somewhat strong, right? They were going to create the new mechanic of the game, especially very easily. And so we wanted to make sure, right, that this was something to be explored. And so I just made sure to, how do I break it the most possible? There's a couple interactions that I just have realized over time that are really strong. So leader is extremely simple. We'll go ahead and be Warriors of Universe 7, so I can play rainbow cards if I want to. It sounds like I might be fourth. And then the Awaken is that at 4 or less life, or if I have a 2-cost Unison in play, I can 1/1 flip over, right? So at that point then, your leader once again gets a combo. You go ahead and draw another card, and then you can continue from there. You can Spirit Boost once per turn. When you combo with a Skillless card, you can give something 6k. So that 6k combo there, right? One card, Spirit Boost 1 for plus 11. That's pretty strong, right? Especially if you get the draw card or you have Gohans out. The last effect is only relevant really for one thing. If a Unison goes to the drop area, you can actually play a Skillless card, energy cost of 2 from your drop area into play. And we'll talk about a combo with that a little bit later. So main thing, right, just draws a whole lot of cards. Stays very consistent in that like you're very easily able to get out of like a couple 15s or 20s in a turn, right? So decks can't really poke you. Decks have to go really tall and really wide to beat you in one go. So there's where we're at. First most important set of cards is 4 Gohan and 3 Android 18. Gohan is the best card for that, right? It's turn 1. It finds basically every card in the deck, 4 or less U7s, and then, or the Unison cost of 2. And then finally, activate main, or auto, limit 1. When you combo the Skillless, you're going to draw an extra card. So if you just have your leader out, you combo with the Skillless card, you draw one for your leader, draw one for this. Literally gaining a card to draw that and combo with something and build the Z energy, right? Very, very powerful. Some additional things, right? We're going to get to Rush Attack later. Oh, not that. Rush Attack later. And when Rush Attack declares an attack, Rush Attack will combo with a card and its skills are negated, triggering this. So in this deck, Rush Attack is a draw 2 if Gohan stuck around. The consistency booster is Android 18. I played 3 of her. She was occasionally the side, like she's one of the cards that you would side out, right? Because you want to try to see her on turn 1 just to make sure you have your Gogeta Unison. But it is not the end of the world if you do not see her. Gohan is really the better card. But she's still fine, right? She's also a 5k, so she can attack a little more reliably at the beginning of the game, which this is a generally kind of aggressive deck. I wouldn't call it aggro per se, but it has the ability to turn on gas. In addition to that, we play 9 Skillless cards. We play 4 of the God Goku from Power Absorbed, 4 of the base Goku from Realm of the Gods, and 1 of the ugly Goku from Cross Spirits. I just went with the extra Goku because it's on theme. It's another Goku, right? I'd rather that we get a chance to just play Goku. This card basically gets sided out every single game. I like cards that are easy to side out, right? There I don't have to like sit there and use extra brain power on what to side. I can just go, oh, well, I'll take out my 9th Skillless card, no problem. They're all just Gokus. Technically, it matters to be Gokus or Piccolos, so just take your pick. Additional enablers. You have 4 Android 18, 2 Android 17. Could be 3-3, could be 4-2, could be 4-2 the other direction. Does not matter. These cards do the same thing. You never cast these. Basically, when you use them in a combo, if the only other card is a skillless card, you get to draw an additional one. So you go like skillless, draw one from your leader, combo this, draw one from this, and then you go hand neutral while getting an extra 10k out, right? Especially useful on things like that rush attack swing that we talked about earlier. You get to go, all right, I'll swing with rush attack, combos with the card, and then I'll go ahead and combo with the Android 18, draw an additional one, basically turning 18 into a pseudo combo anytime a rush attack is attacking. 6 of them is about right? You don't necessarily need them. You kind of want them once on your Awaken turn and then near the end of the game when you're applying pressure. But it's not super critical mid-game. Enablers for the deck and our Unisons is going to be 4 Gogeta Unison, 1 Frieza Unison, and 1 Frieza 18 or Frieza 17 Unison. Gogeta is our primary one. It is a +2 Unison, which obviously is broken as hell. When you +2, you actually get to spit out a 1 cost. So that can be this, you know, the Gohan. It can be your Android 18. It can be a card that we'll talk about literally right after these Unisons. But this card is really strong. It's like the only time that Spirit Boost finally feels good, right? Because you're going to be at 4, 5, 6 markers after a turn or two. Very strong card. The auto is ridiculous, right? Top 3 for any red card. You just find super combos. You find the missing piece that you're looking for. I mean, it just says play, draw a card, which is so wild for red. The Frieza is like the worst card. I did not cast this at all today, but it is just there for additional consistency of gotta see a Unison on 2. And it's like a fine Unison, right? If they don't have like the pressure to remove it, it combos with a guy and you get to draw 2 for free. But then you don't get like the draw 1 from playing it, and you don't get to play a card, so it's not quite as good. This card is the super secret tech that I just didn't resolve today. I could have against Ivo in the 7th round, but I didn't actually need to win. So this is a 15k 2-cost Unison, so it's super searchable off of everything. It has a couple different effects. So 1, it has Empower 2. So when it comes down, you're going to go over a Gogeta, and it's going to immediately bump itself up to 4. Auto, Burst 1, when this card is played, if it has 4 or more markers, you get to draw a card. I think you get to -15 something on that auto too. Nope, it's the next one. Once per turn, if it's your turn when a card is placed from your deck into your drop area, add a marker to this card and then choose one of your opponent's cards. It gets -15. So basically, you get to go, I will go over this Gogeta, do this, draw a card, go to 4, go to 5, and then -15 something. So you get to kill something, and then you go -4, which is to gain 5k and triple attack. Unison pressure is so important right now. Being able to go over this card and get around Nimbus or Riposte or Android 17 defending friends is ridiculous. And then we mentioned this little auto here earlier where you get to play a skillless card. That's right. That means you pay 2 for this. You get to draw a card, mill yourself 1, produce a skillless body, and for 2 energy, you produce 1, 2, 3, 4, 20k attacks, drew a card, and -15 something. Extremely valuable. Just insane value. Super solid card. Wouldn't, you know, I might even just play 2 of this. That way I can like charge it more freely at the beginning of the game. But, you know, I want to make sure that I have a good Unison on 2. The next package that is kind of the play make for the deck is 3 Frieza Overture to Battle and 4 Frieza Pride of an Emperor. So, Frieza Overture to Battle, very simple. What costs 1, and then you get to choose one of your leader or battle cards, and +5, well, your leader or battle card, right? And then you get to swap to a 2 cost. And oh, wouldn't you look at this? This is a 3 cost, except that it has a permanent that in your hand, if you have 3 or more energy, it is reduced to 2. So you can free play off, you can uptick Gogeta Unison, free play a Frieza, +5 your leader, swap the Frieza into this Frieza, and when this Frieza is played, you get to draw a card, -25 something, and then this is a 20k double strike. Your Unisons +2 turned into 5k to your leader, draw a card, and spit out a 20 double from your hand. And then minus 25. That's so ridiculous. Just unfair. Like, this is the combo that truly is like, okay, well, even on turn 3, if you have to reestablish your Unison, you still get to go Unison, free play this, kill something. You know, you drew a card off of this, drew a card off of this. Kind of ridiculous, right? And then you get to swing with the 20k, and this is probably where you'll just put the combo to make sure your leader gets the value. And damn, you know, it's just kind of nice like that. Super broken combo. Limit 1 is only on the draw too, so you can just like pay 1 to keep playing 1 costs plus your leader over and over again, and then just swap into this even just for a 1 energy 20 double. Some counter plays. The obligatory Yamcha. We have Unison's card is just wins games sometimes. And then 3 Gohan counterplay. You consistently do have the Z energy for it. It's just that it doesn't fit in your curve very well. There is kind of a curve to the deck to kind of start out with, and Gohan does help with it, right? You know, especially against like green Gohan, you would take a -1 in hand to represent this. That way they can't like play the Vegeta or whatever. But this card is just okay most of the time. It's still just really powerful at like, I'll kill your token. You know, we're on turn 4. I have 1 more energy to spend. I'll kill your token blocker and swing 20 double again. You know, it's just really good. There are a lot of decks that this card can just like make fold.
All hail Zamasu.
We play 2 Goku 8-drop from the anniversary box. It's okay. The anniversary box actually didn't do very much for this deck. I think the Android 17 and 18 are both not very good cards. But this card itself is a dual double 30k that you play for 2 at active battle speed if you have a red skillless card, and this is your leader with 4 or more energy. When it's played, you -30 something, and then you get to, or you have to place this at the drop area at the end of your opponent's turn. Basically, right, they don't want this to stick around because this permanent is crazy. The permanent says neither player can play battle cards with 25k or more power. So, like, in the finals, even though I lost, I basically bought myself a turn away from Gogeta because I was able to go, hey, I'll play this for 2. This applies a little bit of pressure itself, right? 30 dual double, as it turns out. Pretty good for 2. And then you just can't play big bodies. You can't play cards that interrupt me. Like, you just don't get to do those cards. So, very strong like that. It's a solid card. I might cut it to 1 in the future. We play 1 Goku Piccolo. It's just more varied offense. It's 2 energy. You get to +5 your leader for a turn cycle, which is obviously very strong. And then you'll totally just get to rip that card. That's why it matters that, like, technically these are Gokus or Vegetas, right, for your skilllesses. It's like, if you make them Gokus or Vegetas, then they turn on this. Or Goku or Piccolos, then they turn on this card. So, like, when Chris Spencer eventually picks up the deck, he'll play that. Some one-ofs, we play one of Vegeta Royal Evolution. This is the card that restands your leader when you pay a red. Give it +5 for the turn. Negate its non-keyword skills, and you can't activate skills on either. I mean, it's just, again, it's varied offense, right? In this deck, if you get floodgated out with, like, a Nimbus or something, and then you just go, all right, well, I'll swing with an impactful double strike. Maybe that attack gets negated, or they, you know, you combo and they deal damage. You swing with your Unison, and then you swing with your leader. And then on your leader swing, you combo this, draw a card, and then at the end of the battle, you pay the red, restand, and your leader goes again, right? Not to mention the fact that that whole time, typically you are plussing your leader. So your leader's a 20, and then it goes to 25. So your leader becomes a 25 dual attack very frequently. Very good card. One of Goten. I played this over Android 17. I used to play 17, but it's just a more consistent version of that, and it technically has the one cost to occasionally gain 5k and kill something. One Overwhelm Vegeta. Not a whole lot to explain there. Card's really strong. One Dispo. Literally won me round 1 today. This card won me round 1 today. You just Spirit Boost 2 to negate an attack and play this in rest mode. And I was at 2 life. He swung Mira. I was tapped out. I had to take the Mira Creator Absorb, so it's like 1,000,000. I take the 1. He plays an Oolong, and I go, yep, Dispo. And he's like, yep, pass game. And I'm like, yes, sir. Good job. Good stuff. 3 Backbone of Universe 7 super combos. Draw a card, searchable. It's online at 5, which is really important since you pick down to 5. Just having it online immediately is available. I could see the like the conversation for Raditz, and maybe you could include like 1 Goku, 2 Raditz, but having it be searchable at the beginning of the game, right? If you already have your setup and then you just get to find super combos is really, really strong. Not to mention that like if your opponent's only going to swing like 1 time with like a 20k, you go, okay, combo this, draw one for my leader. I really like that. My secret rare of choice, Gohan and Piccolo. This is a Gohan Adolescence, and this card is the second best secret in the game behind only 21. Pretty good card. Pretty good card. Right, so it on combo will be a 0-30k. If your opponent has 5 more cards in rest mode, it's just reduced by 1 for each. Add 30 to a card, play it, draw a card, swing, draw a card, tap stuff. So ridiculous. You play so many cheap or free double strikers in this deck that if you just go, all right, well, turn 3, right, you can produce the Frieza for free. You can produce a rush attack for 2. And then you can pay 1 for a Goten or for another Frieza or for a Gohan counterplay. And just any one of those attacks that goes through, if your opponent has cards in rest mode, you go, all right. And then comes in, deals another damage itself. Just a ridiculous secret rare. Last bit is my extra cards. 2 of King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, Unending Awakening. In theory, King Vegeta's Imposing Presence is the same as Unending, but it's not because it doesn't actually negate the attack, and negating the attack is oftentimes very important. Likewise, this is a permanent +5, whereas this is just like -5 on the swing, right? So it can matter, right? There are times where this is better. There are times where the hard negate is better. But in combination with each other, that's where they're really strong, right? Because you can't use 2 King Vegeta's Imposing Presence in one turn, but you can go, all right, I'll negate, or, you know, I'll KVIP the first attack, I'll combo out using my leader skill, and then I'll just pay 1, negate the next one, and now I'm like basically a 25k leader. Broken. 2 testing the op, it's token negates. Not a whole lot to say about it, right? Stop more attacks. It's online immediately because you're at 5, which is really great. So you can protect your Unison very, very well in this deck, assuming they're not like on Black Smoke or the Blue Baby or anything. For my Z deck, I played 1, 2, 3 rush attacks. Card is very strong. Just super ridiculous that in this deck, when you have a Gohan out, you go, I'll pay 2 for rush attack, I'll swing with rush attack, I'll draw 2. At that point, that card is skillless, so if you want to push that specific damage or the next attack double strike, you can do the leader skill to Spirit Boost, pull it down, and suddenly this is like a 36k for 1. Or for 2 energy, it draws 2. It's kind of crazy. Then we have 1 Defender of Life. I think kind of standard, right? If you need a barrier attacker, like barrier on play card, super strong. Burns a life if you happen to be playing against this really slow deck that you don't have an answer to. We played 1 of the UI Goku that was printed for the deck back in the last anniversary box. It didn't come in today, but it has come up before, and you pretty rarely ever play a 4th rush attack. So I feel like the versatility of playing this is worth it, right? If you're playing against like blue or yellow, this card can just like draw you 4 cards in like 2 turn cycles and be like a 20k dual blocker. Like, not to mention minus 15k at active battle speed to stuff. This card is really it's just a very simple effect, but it's really, really good. 1 yellow Goku, Evolved Defender. You're a Warriors of Universe 7 negates this specified cost in all areas. Kind of good. Kind of good. So you get to play a busted yellow card in a deck that builds a bajillion Z energy. This card probably gets played. I think I played it like twice today. But there are a lot of matchups where like it almost like auto wins, right? If you're thinking about these decks that play some of these green secret rares, you play this, and then they basically have to respect the fact that this card exists. Not to mention the fact that you stun their leader, right? And then the last card is 1 Final Confrontation. It has 3 different effects. The bottom one is for Goku, so we don't care. It's a 1/1 Z extra card. Something that's very important to note, it's a Z extra, so you get to tap it for yellow effects. Very important. I would have loved to have played more yellow today because I think that's my strongest matchup, but didn't happen. It has 2 main autos that we care about. One being that if an 8-cost Goku is removed, we can play the Frieza 17 Unison from our drop area. If you don't happen to have a Unison already out and your 8-drop gets removed, cool, right? You can maybe get some value back. It just doesn't happen. I've yet to have it happen come up, but it theoretically could. The more important one is this auto that says at the end of your turn, switch up to one of your Universe 7 red Universe 7 cards to active mode. It gains blocker. until the end of your opponent's next turn. So, on turn 2, you go Unison. You play out a 1-cost Gohan. Maybe you didn't see it on turn 1. It's in rest mode. So it means it's kind of vulnerable, right? Your opponent could attack it. But now, after you awaken and you get that energy back, right? You've comboed a bunch of cards, so you definitely have the Z energy. You just play this, and then at the end of your turn, you switch this up. It gains blocker. So you could force your opponent to attack here if you wanted to get the plus, like the combo skill is draw 2. You can protect it because it's no longer in rest mode. Your opponent has to use specifically, they have to spend removal on it rather than like swinging into it with their 10 or 15k leader. Otherwise, just at like the end of the turn of a Frieza, you just get to turn this into a 20k blocker every turn. And I think that's so strong, right? Like if you already have a Gohan out and then you end your turn with putting Frieza up, now if your opponent only has a little bit of removal, they have to make a conscious decision between take away your draw power or take away a blocker, right? Especially a 20k that if you just like block their leader, it might just fizzle and then they don't even, you get to keep it for the following turn. Very, very strong effects on this card. I don't know why it does as much as it does, but like honestly, it's just really, really good. Not a whole lot more to it. So we'll go ahead and talk about that sideboard now and how well or great it did. We played 2 Mai and a Pilaf for some blue hate. Only for 21, right? You just pull it in the one time. I guess you happen to play against like some other niche matchups like Angel Coup or something. Shout out to Angel Coup, my favorite. You know, it's just like, it's fine most of the time, but it doesn't really do anything. Mai is really great, but I think one thing that a lot of players don't do properly is that they should just be playing Mai on like their kill turn. If they play it out at the beginning of the game, obviously it can be very annoying at that point, but you need it just for the turn that you need them to not be demagicking, right? Like that's just for the one turn. And honestly, these cards shouldn't exist in the first place. They just shouldn't exist. So very simple. We play 1 additional Vegeta Royal Evolution. This was basically for Cooler Mill or Yellow. So when you get to swing with your leader a whole lot of times, you just want to make sure that you have more copies of this so that way you can go through floodgates regardless of what's happening. We played 2 Kaioken Concentrated Destruction. It's for Yellow and for Gogeta. Against Yellow, you would typically do it against like Yellow Sin. You'd go, all right, I'll pay 2. I get to kill your champ promo. You know, we spent the similar energy. Obviously, I went hand minus, you went hand neutral. But to kill that card is too valuable. And so this card is very good. It's searchable. It's a U7. It does everything that you could ever possibly need it for. My more specific application is that if you're playing against Gogeta, you have access to several different ways to just like clear it by accident. So if they go secret rare, you'll go, okay, let's window 1. And they basically, right, if they respond in window 1, you're like, great, so I didn't do anything and you spent it. Cool. If they don't respond, you go, all right, Gohan, because it's still a 1 cost in your hand, minus 20 to the secret rare, pay 2, discard, kill it. Right now it's minus 45, it's dead. You can do the same thing to the 8 drops. If that doesn't really float your boat or whatever, Frieza does the same thing. It pays 1, it swaps to a 3 cost, the 3 cost minus 25, draw a card, and then you go, and now I'll pop it, right? That's what this card is really for, is like it's for the secret rare, and then it happens to also be good against Yellow Sin. Rush Attack is the final piece, right? That's also 40 right there. So if you just go, all right, well, I know you don't have energy for a Zamasu here or something, you just go, all right, pay 2 for Goku, pay 2 for Rush Attack, swing with Rush Attack minus 15. You're just trying to kill it as quickly as possible. Can't let that secret rare sit around for too long. Pilaf Missile, you have a Unison constantly in play, hits counterplays, best against Yellow, and then like you would play it, and there's a lot of weird little matchups too where, you know, you're playing against Cooler Mill, they're gonna have Oceanus. If you play against like some of these certain blue decks, just being able to prevent certain 15Ks is really important. And so I think that this card is just really solid because it's just free. Like even just the 1 energy from Beerus is not worth taking. Like taking the minus 2 is literally better than paying the 1 energy for Beerus most of the time. 3 Koitsukai, anti floodgate stuff. It hits Cooler Mill. That's really all it's there for. This card should have been banned, but then Cooler Mill now exists, and we should have done whatever. We play 2 Violent Rays and 2 Shin for Go Tall decks. Specifically, Shin is mostly going to come in against Gohan. Violent Rays comes in for Gohan and Gogeta. You want to make sure that they can't be swinging with the 35s and 40s recklessly. And against Shin, it is also a Universe 7. So on turn 3 against Gohan, you get to go, I'll pay 1 for Shin, draw a card, swing lead, combo the Shin, draw another card, and then they're locked out of their best play for turn 3. Obviously, if they have the ability to play the Unison, that's just the way it is. But especially, right, if you go like second, they've already got the Unison out. So, like, you just gotta make sure that you don't die to the 8-drop the following turn. That's what it's there for. And then 4 tokens. Overall, extremely fun event. I really do love this deck. I was having a blast. Finals kind of killed the mood, and it sounds like I got 4th despite the fact that I just finished playing in finals because, I don't know, my opponents happen to have the worst win percentage, which is so fun. I love Swiss. But the deck is really slick, right? I think this is probably the second best red deck behind Pan. I just think that it's one of those like underexplored strategies that if people actually put the time into learning the intricacies of it, right? Playing that Unison for 2 and getting 4 20k attacks, including 3 of which that are Unison swings, is ridiculously important. Being able to understand the best ways to use Vegeta to restand your leader, and of course, like, understanding the sequencing to make sure that you get the most out of your Spirit Boost, right? You can attack with Gohan 4Ks, and then Spirit Boost, and it goes to 16, or it goes to 15k, and then at the end of your turn, you restand it with your Z Extra. It's so good. So, just keep exploring, guys. That's all this game is really about, is taking advantage of what's in front of you. Shout outs to Minnesota, of course. That's, you know, my local playtest area. And then shout outs, of course, to PPG FOE, my current team. If there's any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll try to check it out every once in a while, but this deck rocks. My only job every couple of weeks, every couple of months, is to be a funny little goofy guy who brings a deck that no one thought was good and to place in the top 4 with it. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. I really need sleep. I got 4 hours last night, and it is time for you to enjoy the video. Have a great one. Like and subscribe. Bye.